terminology, right? You guys are coming toward the end of your first semester, right? So you're going to have one semester under your belt, but it's not quite over yet, right? So just keep swimming. Keep going. All right? So I just thought that we'd go over a few things that are common, that, mistakes that I see over and over every semester, and just some little tricks and tips too that I have come up with or other students have come up with over the years. Was there any place in particular you guys would like to start or had any questions about overall? No? You don't know what you don't know, right? Okay. So let's just start then with some common spelling stuff that comes up, or some terms that get mixed up sometimes. So a big one is ophthalmo, OPHTHALM/O. So what part of the word is that? That's a root or a combining form. Those mean the same thing. Your author in this textbook calls it a combining form because it has the O with it, but it's a root term too, so that means the same thing. So ophthalmo, the big thing in that is that people forget this first H. It's OPHTH. Okay, and what does it mean? It means eye, right? Okay. Trying to think other stuff that gets spelled incorrectly. I printed off these. So you guys have these in your class, the two things that I gave you for kind of like a review. And these are not by any means like an all-inclusive list. I'm not saying that if it's not on this list, it's not going to be on the test. But these are just the more common ones, or like I said, things that commonly get confused and everything. So if you know this stuff like the back of your hand, you should do pretty good on the test. Okay? Like I said from the beginning of the semester, I recommend that you take the quizzes over and over again as we go along. Somebody asked if I was going to open up the quizzes again for you guys to take them. And I don't do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, they are tied to your participation and attendance in the class, so I do kind of use them as a gauge. And another reason is if I do that, then everybody's just going to wait until the last minute and just cram everything all in at once as much as you can. I've already got people who have just taken the tests or the quizzes like once a week. But like I said from the beginning, those are study tools for you. So you should be using those as you go along. If you try and use them all at once, all at the end, you might learn it well enough to pass the test and do well on the test, but you're not going to remember it next semester, especially over the summer, since you guys are starting in the spring. Okay, so terminology is largely memorization, and if you don't use it and use it a lot, then you're not going to retain it and you're not going to remember it. And you're going to be expected in your classes next semester and the following semester and the following semester to know these terminology words when they're used in your class, or to use these terminology words when you turn in your assignments. Okay, so that's why I don't do that. All right. So let's see, let's do some other spelling ones. Another big one is abscess. So that commonly gets misspelled. People leave out that middle S. So I made up a little cheer to remember this with. Yes, I used to be a cheerleader in high school. And so we did the SUCCESS cheer. That's the way you spell success. So I apply that to abscess, and that's the way I remember it. So it's ABSCESS. That's the way we spell abscess. Okay, so that's a good way to remember that. That's something that that I use. But just like anything else, even if it doesn't make any sense, if it just makes sense to you and it's something that you can remember and stick with your brain, then run with it. I've heard a lot of different stuff over the years, and sometimes it's just goofy, silly stuff. But if that's what helps you remember, then that's awesome. That's what you need it for, right? Okay, abscess. Another one is pruritus. Unfortunately, I have not come up with a nice, fun way to remember that. It's just remember that it's Pruritus. And my book had it spelled wrong, which is why I put that little note in. but apparently they've revised it. And if you have, I think it's a 2017 copyright, then that's corrected in your book. Okay, but this is the correcting. And remember that it's US, not IS, because this doesn't mean inflammation, right? What does pruritus mean? It means itchy or itching. Oops, my pen's dying. Okay, so that's another one. Epistaxis. That's a really common term that you're going to see a lot and hear a lot. What's that mean?
Nosebleed.
Nosebleed, right. And again, unfortunately, I don't have a fun way to remember that. It looks like taxis here, and I just remember it's the epis before that. That's the way I remember it. Okay. Let's see, I got pruritus on there. Oh, let's see. Race. Okay, so let's move on to some stuff that like commonly gets mixed up, like the prefixes inter and intra. Okay? One means between and one means within, right? Which one means between? Inter. How do you remember that?
Is that the E's?
Because they have E's, right? So this one's between, and this one's within. Or I think it's in or into as well. Okay? So and anytime it has more than one thing, generally if you stick with the first definition, that's the most common one, and that's going to be the one that's used the most. Like with OMA. What's OMA mean? Tumor or mass or collection of fluid, right? But most commonly it's going to be that one.
Is
Okay?
that going to be super detrimental on the final of like if they are like a prefix or suffix that has multiple definitions like the tumor mass or collection? If we put tumor like for one of them, like if we're doing the breakdown
Mm-hmm.
and we put OMA and we put one of those three, would it still count correct? Or
It depends on what it is, because if you're talking